What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is season 3. I think this is episode 13, and the episode was titled A Date with Destiny, you guys. Now, before we get into this review, if you guys are watching this video or any other review on the channel and are not already subscribed to the channel, then I need you guys to do me a big favor. Stop taking me out on this date. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell button so you guys are notified of when I drop anything else. Share the video. Now, with that all out the way, without further ado, let's discuss Love and Marriage Huntsville, shall we? Alright, guys, so before we actually get into this review, I saw this on social media the other day, right? It was of that big ass milk dud Martell freaking Holt, right? So Martell was on Instagram. He posted this picture. Oh, excuse me, I didn't mean to burp in your face. He posted this picture where he's outside on the grill, right? So he asked the question of what side y'all like with your meat, question mark, with the looking emoji, right? Y'all already know. I love hashtag coleslaw. It ain't even showtime, but start at season 1 of hashtag Love and Marriage Huntsville, and about time Saturday gets here, you'll be caught up. You mother asshole. He really posted that shit. But when questioned about coleslaw and if you loved her, you couldn't answer that question. But you can go on social media and be like, oh, you love hashtag coleslaw. Go to hell, Martell. Kindly go to hell. So this episode, we open it up with Destiny. So we see Destiny, and Destiny is doing this photo shoot with Leah Diaz from Married to Medicine Los Angeles. I really hate that they canceled that, because I actually really did enjoy Married to Medicine Los Angeles. I know a lot of people thought it was boring, but I enjoyed it. So Leah is now the owner of Hype Hair magazine. So Destiny is going to be gracing the cover, right? So then we see Destiny's dad. Her dad came down there to show her some support, to tell her how much he loves her, which was a cute scene. I really liked it. So then Tisha shows up. Now there's one thing that I will say about Tisha, right? Tisha's a beautiful woman. The thing about Tisha is it's her makeup. Like, if you guys look at the opening credits, right? Her makeup is so dark, right? Really dark. It looks like she's casket ready. Then if you guys look at her when she's in her scene, her makeup is, simple and kind of understated, right? And it's beautiful, right? But then when you see her in her interview with the producers, her makeup is once again very harsh. It's just like, damn. So I'm pretty positive Tisha probably does her own makeup before her scenes, right? So I'm just like, I know you probably do your makeup before you, like, why don't you tell them, just give me a natural, you can beat my face, but make it a natural look, right? And I don't know if it'd be the foundation that'd be off or what, but it'd just be off. So Destiny and Tisha sit down and talk, right? So they talk about Vegas and how to, Tisha think Vegas. When Tisha says she well, Vegas was supposed to be for us to celebrate, friendship, right? And just, Destiny's like, well, how do you think that went? She's like, 50% of it was good, but 50% of it was bad. I wouldn't give 50-50, right? Because you had Mel and Martell arguing with each other, not once, not twice. How many times did they argue? Was it twice? They argued when they went and got in them in those little, what I can't what, they argued when they did the car ride, right? They argued at the house. Then Marceau and Kimmy argued. And then Destiny and, I don't know if I would say 50-50. I mean, I probably had some fun times, but from what we saw, it was a lot of bickering and arguing. But, okay, I'll give her that. She said 50-50, I'll let her have that, right? So then Tisha says, that she feels like they learned a lot about Destiny in Vegas. I'm like, how? The only thing that y'all learned about Destiny is that, not Destiny, but Tiffany, is that she's transparent. She's so transparent, yet we know nothing about her life. We know nothing about her. We don't know nothing about her and Lewis. We don't know anything about Tiffany and Lewis, but Tiffany is so transparent. So they also talk about the fact that Tiffany doesn't know how to read the room, which 100%. And it's, so when Tisha was talking in this scene, I was like, okay. So if you listen to the way Tisha was talking, Tisha didn't have an issue with Destiny checking Tiffany. It was just really Mel that had the issue with it, right? And then they talk about the fact that Mel defends Tiffany mistransparent, but like if Tiffany can dish it, let her then be able to take it, and without Mel jumping into the equation, right? So then they also talk about Marceau, right? And Destiny asked her, how did you feel when we were at the chapel and he didn't want to do the vow renewal? She said she was overthinking everything at that point, right? The situation with Mel and Martell, Tiffany, all of that. I get that you were over it, but I really wish Tisha had expressed to Marceau that, hey, I thought this was something that would be cute and simple and sweet to do. But here you are kind of crapping on it, right? Like, I really wish Tisha wouldn't shrink her. That's what I wanted to say. I'm glad I got the right word. I wish Tisha wouldn't shrink herself when Marceau says he doesn't want to do something or he doesn't agree with something. Tisha shrinks herself and accommodates what he says, right? But you should be able to say, hey, Marceau, I really want to do this. Like, I have my heart set on this. I mean, he can still say no, but don't shrink yourself for him. But let's move on, you guys. All right, guys, next up, let's discuss Martell. So Martell went to see Marceau, right? That shirt. Like, bruh, you in these shirts and these pants, like, you are literally cutting off your circulation. But whatever. You look like the Incredible fucking Hulk. So, Martell's really and truly what he's doing is using people. This scene right here was him basically trying to use Marceau. God, like, why is he going to Marceau? And then I thought about it because he started talking about the 47 acres. I was like, oh my God, here we go with the 47 acres again. It would be nice, and it would be a good thing for the community if they could get the 47 acres, build on that lot, have generational wealth for themselves, right? Their kids, and then also help out the community, right? That would be a good idea. That would be a good thing. But I think a big part of the reason why they can't do it is, number one, I feel like there are a lot of egos that are involved with this, right? I think there are a lot of egos. And the biggest one is Mr. Holt. But the funny thing is, Mr. Holt can't do anything. Mr. Holt can't build shit because Mr. Holt doesn't have a builder's license. So, and it's so funny when you literally just think about it, right? Because Mel and Martell season 1, you remember the comeback group fell apart, and Mel and Martell were going to then go and do stuff on the 47 acres, but then they had a whole issue with that. And it's like, wow, when you really think about it, it really would have been just Mel building, but it would have been under the guise of Holt and Holt. But Martell made such big stinks and fusses about shit. But nigga, you ain't got a builder's license the first. So what you gonna build? A toy house? A doll house? Gotcha. So, excuse me, I didn't mean to burp in your face. So then Martell talks about, like he's talking about the 47 acres, and he's telling Marceau that he wants Marceau to come on and help with the project, right? And I was thinking to myself, so the 47 acres are like, what are y'all gonna literally do with the 47 acres, right? Is it gonna, because Marceau does commercial, right? Marceau does commercial real estate. But then I've heard them say, now see, here's the thing that I don't understand when it comes to, and this is just outside of, I don't understand. What's the difference between a single? Well, I know what a single family home is and a multi-family home is, but when it comes to houses, how do you determine what's a single family home versus what's a multi-family home? Right? Is it the bedrooms? Because I know some. I mean, because no, I don't think anyone is gonna build a one-bedroom house. Because that would technically, if we're thinking single family, for me, if you think single family, that's an interesting question. So here's the question: single family. Would single family be like a mother and if she has a son or something like that? Like, would that be a single family home? Is that a single family home? Now, multi-family home, I know what that is, right? A multi-family home would consist of more than one, like at least what? I mean, what? At least 5 bedrooms, I would say. But what? I do really do have that question. I might look into it, right? What is the difference between a single family home and I mean, I know the difference. I know the difference between a single family home and a multi-family home. I do know that. It's just with the houses. How do they determine that? That's an interesting question. How do they determine? Because here's the thing. Like, that's an interesting question. A multi-family home. I'm gonna look into that because I'm very, very curious about that. Very curious, right? But Martell wants to work with Marceau because, again, was what I say. Marceau has the builder's license. You know what would be cool if they could do with the 47 acres? Build houses, right? And with Marceau having commercial licenses, build commercial property. Bring up well, that's what they wanted to do, right? Bring up the neighborhood. You know, that really would be a good idea. But like I said, I feel like this show, as well as egos, have gotten involved, and what ultimately was a really good idea has now been soured. So Marceau then asked Martell, like, with this whole Mel situation, because Martell told him about Chris Fletcher and Chris having the meeting with Mel. So he says, do you think that you could work with Mel? He's like, yeah. So then Marceau also asked him about his, when he talked to Mel about Chris Fletcher coming to him, how was he? Martell says he doesn't remember. You know exactly how you were. You were an asshole. So then Chris Fletcher does join them, right? So Marceau asked Chris Fletcher, with the divorce between Mel and Martell and the current state of their relationship, do you think that these two could work together on this project? Ideally, what Chris said is true, right? Ideally, that would be true. Mel and Martell are two grown-ass adults, right? And ideally, you would think that they could put their own issues to the side and come together for this common goal, right? But it's not gonna. I don't see it working, and it's not even on Mel. It's really on Martell's childish ass side. I just don't see it happening. But Chris says we don't have any contractors. Mel is not signed on yet, so nothing is definitive at this point. And that was the issue. Martell felt some type of way, but once again, you don't have your builder's license. Once again, he just went and talked to her. She never signed on. So you did all of that for no reason. But let's move on. All right, you guys. So next up, Tiffany and Destiny. So Tiffany and Destiny, they met up, right? And Tiffany, she came in with her, God, the way that woman dresses, it's very plain Jane, right? And then her hair, and then her big ass forehead. Okay, I'm not gonna talk too bad about Tiffany in this episode. So, Destiny's like, thank you for coming. She's like, well, I had to think about it. She's like, why did you have to think about it? She's like, well, when we had the girls' night, basically she flipped in the script. I'm like, but Tiffany, at girls' night, that was all you, my love. That was you, beloved. Like, that was you, beloved. Because you opened your big ass mouth and you said something and you got a reaction from someone. which is basically kind of what you wanted, I feel, right? So Tiffany, like I said, she's basically rewriting history, because you came into the group very strong, right? And then she says to Destiny, well, you were once the new girl, and did everyone just like you automatically? No. No, we did not. No, 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 no. We did not like Destiny immediately, right? Because we felt like Destiny came in way too strong with Kimmy about this whole situation with LeBuick, and Kimmy not knowing LeBuick, right? Which is completely different than how you came in. The way that you came in just being rude for no fucking reason, right? You first came at Destiny, then you said something to Kimmy, then you said something to Tisha. It was your delivery. It's one thing to say the things that you said, right? But you gotta know how to verbalize it to people. Certain people can't take, like, you're so blunt and you're so, transparent. But if you are that person, then you would be like, you know what? This person might not take it the way that it's intended. And she actually did say that at one point. It didn't translate the right way, right? So then, she says she's misunderstood. I'm like, girl, how in the hell are you misunderstood? So then we actually got some transparency from Tiffany, which was surprising. I'm like, if this Tiffany had come in, maybe I would like you a little bit more. So we found out that Tiffany her name is really actually not even Tiffany. She was born Jamie Lynn Payne, right? And she was given up for adoption by her mother, who kept her other white kids and put her up for adoption. Now that is fucked up. That's fucked up that her mama put her up for adoption because she was biracial. Now, unless her mama was raped by unless her mama was, assaulted, that's the only way I can understand her giving her up for adoption, right? Unless her mother was, if that happened, I can understand it. But if you willingly slept with a black man and you got pregnant, then I don't feel nothing. I don't feel no empathy for her mother. So she didn't really explain what happened, right? So she was adopted by her parents, who are biracial. And she also lets us know that her neighbor told her when she was 19 years old that she was adopted. That is terrible. Her own parents didn't get the opportunity to tell her that she was adopted. That's fucked up. And she was also pregnant at the time. And she said, because she didn't say if this was her, but she has an ex-husband. Now, see, Tiffany didn't go too deep into this, right? Because she mentioned her child's father, right? But then she said she got with her high school sweetheart, and he died about a year ago, right? But she never really mentioned anything about her ex-husband. So we don't know, because she has an ex-husband, because she's not a widow. She didn't say she never said she was a widow. She didn't. So I'm not gonna give Tiffany too much, because she opened up a little bit, right? And I actually appreciated it. So then she invites her over. Tiffany invites Destiny to she and Lewis's 1-year wedding anniversary. All right, let's move on. All right, guys. Next up, I'm gonna talk about Mel and Martell in the same scene. So Mel, she met up with Chris, to discuss the 47 acres, right? That wig that Mel had on, I just want Mel to just kind of burn that wig. So they talk about the 47 acres, right? And, Chris shows her, I guess, some schematics he might have had, right? And she looks at it, right? So then Chris tells her about the meeting he had with Martell, and Marceau was there. And Mel was like, so he had a meeting with you and Marceau? The same person that he said didn't do this, didn't do that. Exactly, right? But we all know why Martell is doing this. Martell is being spiteful. Martell, when he heard that Chris Fletcher went to talk to Mel about this, Martell was like, you know what? Gimme, gonna get some get back, right? Which Chris Fletcher didn't do anything wrong. If his business partners wanted to work with Mel, then Chris is just honoring his business partner's wishes. Now, Mel could say no easily, right? But then again, here's the situation. Like, I don't understand how Martell is so upset, right? You don't have a builder's license. All of this really could have been avoided if you had your builder's license. If you had your license, then actually the developers probably still wouldn't want to deal with you just because of the scandal that's surrounding you. So they probably would still want to go with someone else, just because they don't want their brand tarnished because of you, or they don't want to feel like anybody can come after them. So you still probably would have been screwed either way it go, right? So Chris also told her how Martell felt like he went behind his back talking to her. But again, she has a builder's license. You don't. What am I going to do? Come to you and say, hey, so the developers want me to talk to Mel. Is it okay if I talk to Mel? Bruh, there is money. When money is involved, I don't give a damn what you guys are going through. Personally, I don't care. Suck that shit up and move on. But see, here's my issue with Martell, right? Because Mel talked about this. She talked about the kids, right? Her 4 kids. Like, she gonna do whatever she gotta do for her kids. And that's the thing for me with Martell. If Mel gets this job, your kids have food on the table, clothes on their back, the lights are on, the water is running. Your kids have everything that they need, the essentials that they need. They have food in their mouth, clothes on their back, a place to sleep, running water. Like, so your kids don't have to want for anything. So I just don't understand that mindset that he has. So then we see Martell in this ill-fitted ass suit, and they go and see Maurice, right? So Martell's trying to rebuild his credit, right? I was like, wow, he's trying to repair his credit. I'm like, what happened to his credit? Because he had this manila folder in his hand, and he handed it to Maurice. And I was like, oh, you filed for bankruptcy. I'm like, damn, you know this is going to follow you. Oh, God, bankruptcy. So Martell is trying to figure out how long it would take him to get approval from a bank. Maurice says it'll take about 2 years. He's like, 2 years? I'm like, Martell, if you have a bankruptcy, you know it's going to take a while for you to get anything. Bankruptcy literally just stops people from coming after you. That's all it does. It stops them. It stops the debt collectors from coming after you. But it still is a negative, right? It's not a good thing when you file for. It's not good. Like, people are going to want you to do so many things before they say, hey, we trust you enough to give you X amount of dollars or X amount of, give you this line of credit. Like, it's going to take a while. So yeah, that's it for Mel and Martell, and we're going to move on and wrap up the episode. All right, guys, lastly, let's talk about Tisha. So Tisha, I really think that you need to stay in therapy with Dr. Francis, because you have a lot of things that you definitely do need to unpack. And so, like I said, she went to see Dr. Francis, right? So Tisha, in this scene, she's talking about how much she has to do around the house. And I do feel bad for her, right? Because when it comes to Marceau, like, she can tell him what she wants and what she needs, but he's stubborn and it's like a bull. So it's like you're trying to push this bull, but it's not moving. And I do feel bad for her. But even Dr. Francis said, you're in a marriage, but the way you talk, it's all you. I don't know how. It just goes back to those whole outdated ass gender roles. I don't know why they did air quote, but it goes back to those outdated ass gender roles where the man is the provider. I go out, I make the money, I bring home the quote unquote bacon. You cook the bacon, you clean, you take care of the kids. I don't believe in that. I mean, I know what the Bible says. A man that doesn't work don't eat, right? I know that saying in the Bible, right? I know that saying. But even with the Bible, those are outdated. Let's be real. Even with the Bible, those scriptures, they're outdated. But we still follow them. I know people follow them, and I'm not knocking it. But like, so because back in those days, people steal something. You do that. You cut off so they can't steal. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Now, the reason why I say I feel like Tisha needs to stay in therapy is because of the fact when she started talking about how growing up, she didn't hear the word "I love you." She didn't hear "I love you," and that is detrimental. You should always tell your kids that you love them, like you really should. I know people. We believe that just because. It's interesting, right? Because my mom and my grandmother always told me that my family, we all tell each other we love each other, right? That's something that my family has always done. I will say that. So I don't know what that feels like to not hear it. But I do also know what it feels like to get gifts. And that can be a way of saying I love you, right? Well, some people take that as I love you. I don't. I've never took that as I've never taken a gift as I love you. Because the way that I operate, I actually tell people, don't give me a gift. I don't like gifts. I actually hate gifts, to be quite honest with you. Because you don't know you don't know how I am. You don't know my style. You might know what I like, but what you might pick out might not be for me. So give me the money. So then she also talks about the fact that, Marceau is told there that, he has a bit of depression, right? And then she talks about the fact that Marceau told her she needs to listen more, right? And the fact that he feels that her asking for, material things is a contributing factor to his depression. I don't agree with that. She also talked about Vegas, you guys. And here's another, like I was talking about earlier. I just wish Tisha, even if Marceau doesn't agree with what you say, express to him how you feel. Don't shrink yourself. Express your feelings. Put them out there. If he gets uncomfortable, oh well. He just gets uncomfortable. But that's it, you guys. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. Leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Share the video. Until the next one, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands. Wear a mask. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. And it's actually going to be Potomac. And Potomac is going to be a long one. Potomac is going to be a kind of a long review today because I want to talk about the reunion looks. And then I'm going to talk a little bit more about some other stuff. Yeah, I pretty much know what it is. It's the same stuff we've been talking about. But I'll see you guys for Potomac and Salt Lake City later. Bye, guys.